So the Browns really need to get a quarterback on a rookie contract, is what he's saying. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN, NFL national reporter, talking about the latest that he's hearing relative to the quarterback carousel, Shedeur Sanders, and the Browns.
And then the Giants have to wait for everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The Giants, I do know that Russell Wilson has looked at the Giants as a viable option for a while now, even dating back to the Super Bowl or around the end of the season. So he must have seen some of those dominoes coming. So I do think that will eventually be the play. If the money's right, I think he still looks at himself as a valuable starter, and that costs money. I'm curious how far teams are willing to go just because of the musical chairs he's played the last 3 years with different organizations at quarterback. So, he's got a cap where you have to work it out financially, and these teams will probably be looking more for like a lower end bridge deal. And I don't know if he's willing to accept that at this stage, given all that he's done and all the Pro Bowls that he's made and the Super Bowl pedigree. So that complicates things a little bit. But my sense is, if Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh, Russell Wilson slides right into that Giants spot unless things get crazy.
But can you see the Giants taking Shedeur Sanders? Could you see the Giants actually try?
Yeah.
I don't know if Tennessee's going to actually take Cam Ward. They
Yeah.
sound like they are, but I don't believe anything until it happens. But can you see the Giants being aggressive with either one of these quarterbacks?
Yes. And even before the Aaron Rodgers talk, when they were going for Matthew Stafford, like they spent a month on trying to get Matthew Stafford and put together big financial packages, and they were sort of left at the altar. But the sense coming out of the combine was if they strike out on Stafford, they're going to go draft. They're going to go heavy there with that third pick, maybe try to trade up. I still think that's a possibility. If you get Rodgers or even Wilson to a lesser extent like that, at least frees you up to not have to do that if you don't want to give up too much. But some of that was predicated on Tennessee wanting to move back. It does seem like now, again, a lot can happen with the draft. I won't make sweeping determinations, but from what I've gathered, they seem pretty comfortable with Cam Ward. Like there's some momentum there with other teams I've talked to league wide that they feel like they're just going to sit there and take Ward. I know the interviews with Ward have gone well. They feel comfortable with like the mistakes he has made on the field. They feel like he's done a good job of explaining those and can be coached and correct them. And he's got the obvious upside on top of that. So if you equal all that out, you sense a little momentum for the Titans to sit put. That could complicate things for the Giants if they're comfortable with Shedeur at 3 or even moving up to 2. Is that too rich for them? I think they're weighing all those things, but in the short term, they've got to figure this out and at least get a solution bird in hand with a veteran free agent.
But can you see the Browns taking Shedeur Sanders?
So the Browns have been probably the most unpredictable in all this. Like they don't have a lot of money to spend. I do think Kirk Cousins could be in play for them because of the familiarity with Kevin Stefanski, but there's not. Atlanta really is just, they don't want to move them. And then if they do move them, they're going to want somebody to pay a good amount of that offset money with the $37 million they owe them. So that complicates things for the Browns because they're paying Deshaun Watson. They're looking at guys like Carson Wentz too as sort of contingency plans. So they've been all over the map, really. They acquired Kenny Pickett last week. So they've been tough to figure out a little bit. I do know that they like Shedeur. To what extent, if they're willing to pick him 2 overall, I cannot say. I do know there's some love there for Shedeur Sanders and sort of his computer brain to be able to, feel out the game mentally. Like they have some respect for what Shedeur can do in that area, maybe more than some teams.